United States. Hey, home girls. That's what I'm talking about. So that was good to see. And of course, today, Serena Williams and just dominated Maria Sharapova, just basically just pounded her into the Wimbledon grass. It was almost laughable. Those people who probably would think that maybe Venus kind of threw the match the other day, you see Serena's parts carried. We'll talk a little bit more about those things as well. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. The NBA is just ruling the roost as it relates to public relations these days. And, good or bad, that's what the NBA wants. That's what they're getting, and they're not mad at anybody. You know, a lot of people are mad at DeAndre Jordan, but man, just be mad. Wish you could have been in that position to turn down 80 million and go back to 80 million, 88 million. How about that? So a lot of people are upset about that. And, those things happen. We'll get into that as well. Talk a little bit more, give you some information about why that happens. And we're hoping to get Larry Ridley on this week. We apologize. We've been missing each other back and forth. But we're hoping to get him on this week to talk, to give us a little insight, although I have some as well. But I can give you an idea of why that took place and why they could have done that if they wanted to. So, but I'm not mad at DeAndre Jordan. Of course, the two DeAndres are on the map today. We're going to talk about DeAndre Johnson, the young man at Florida State, and that's going to be part of my Thursday afternoon rant. He's the young man from Florida State who has been kicked out of school because of what we saw on videotape as a domestic violence situation. I've got some comments about that. You may or may not like what I'm going to say, but if you've been listening to this show, I got to say it right. So, so we're gonna talk a little bit about that and get my take on that. Man, there's so many things to talk about. The NBA free agency, we'll talk about that as well. Man, I've got a whole list of things. I don't know that we're gonna. Oh, Jason Pierre Paul, we did speak on that. Interesting. The All-Star game, A-Rod gets jilted. Do you care? And we got some news about Mayweather as well. SEC Media Day is about to start. Whole list of things that we can talk about. You can also give me a call at 501-433-0088. That's how you get in touch with me. I'll talk to you live. Now, coming up, we're expecting Greg Pope at about 5:25. Tim Swift about 6:10, and hopefully we can get Larry Ridley, our NBA analyst, about 6:25 today. I'm gonna send out the bat signal to him and hopefully get him on because the NBA has just been dope. This is what you want, folks. You know that old saying in Hollywood is this thing where they just spell my name right. That's all they care. Whether you like it, whether you the fan are upset what Jordan did, or you're a Mavericks fan and you're mad at DeAndre Jordan, it don't matter. As far as the NBA is concerned, they're talking about the NBA. I can't remember. I guess the last couple of years with the LeBron situation, but you don't usually be talking NBA this late in the year. This is July. It's July 9th, and the NBA is dominating the media. I'm not mad at it. Go for it. That's what they do. And usually stuff like this. This is the NBA. This is the NFL that does this, not the NBA. It's funny. It really is. It's almost laughable, but good for the NBA. I'm gonna do so a lot of these other leagues would die to be able to be in that position for people to be talking about their league a month and a half after the season is over with. Now, think about that. A month and a half after the season is over with. That's just really amazing. So we'll see how that goes. But we'll get into all of it. It's going to be a fun show today. I just feel it in my bones. I don't know why. It's not that hot today, so I can breathe. The live stream will be up here in just a moment. We'll try to get that up here in the break or somewhere right after the break. So stick and stay for that. We're going to go ahead and take our first break. You're listening to the weekly. Well, just hang on and call. I know you. Uh, all right. So let's put him on hold right now. And we're going to go ahead and take our first break. And when we come back, if he wants to talk on there, we'll definitely talk on there with him as well. So you're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on KABF 88.3 FM. No, it was Aretha Franklin singing some blues. Okay. That's the name of the album. Okay. Okay. Have you checked out dynamicpowerbase.com? It's smart, it's innovative, and most important, it's a growth database of up-and-coming ready. Build a network. Streaming. I am getting the stream set up. Be ready here in just go to dynamicpowerbase.com right now and let's see for yourself. Here's my number, 615-554-0568. You'll talk direct to me, AW, and we'll begin developing your business footprint for the web. Go to dynamicpowerbase.com. It's smart, it's innovative, and most importantly, it's not a party, it's a purpose. Welcome back to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Hey, I want to know who the lady is myself. What's up with that? Isley Brothers, hey, we're having a good time here on the Weekly Sports Magazine. We're here every Thursday afternoon having a good time talking sports, X's and O's, and the Jimmies and the Joes. Hey, and of course, we jam old school music here. You know, that newfangled stuff. Anyway. Start as it relates to the topics of the day because there are so many to jump on. And by the way, if you're on Facebook, you can stream the show at Dynamic Power. Well, it's just go to davidwcoleman. And I'm on Facebook, or you can go to dynamicpowerpages.com and just click on the logo that says the Weekly Sports Magazine, and you will be able to go directly to my website and stream the show. All of that should be up here in just a moment. I'm looking forward to that. And hopefully you'll go out and tell a friend. And if you hadn't told a friend about the show, what are you waiting? I just want to know. Because, you know, we have a good time. We talk sports. Football season's around the corner. It's only, I believe it's 64, 63 days to go before we're talking football 24/7. Of course, we'll definitely squeeze in some hockey and some basketball, because hockey season is, believe it or not, they got to go back to training camp in September. It's crazy. So hockey season is right around the corner. Got to keep you updated on my Preds, of course, the National Predators, of course. So we'll definitely stay in touch with them and talk about some of the things that happened there. But football season is right around the corner. I'm excited, looking forward to it. A lot of things to talk about. We're going to start reviewing here in the next probably 2 weeks or so all of the teams from the SEC to the professional ranks. We'll definitely do professional and make some picks and things of that nature. So we're going to do all that here on the show. So I hope you'll stick and stay with that. And we'll get some unique guests for the NFL season as well. I've got some pretty cool contacts that I made while I was doing sports Nashville. So here you heard about the fiasco with DeAndre Jordan. He's decided that he's going to stay in Los Angeles with the Clippers as opposed to going to Dallas, where he had given them his word. You know, I don't know why everybody's so upset with DeAndre Jordan. I mean, the guy can change his mind. You change your mind every day. And many of you who are complaining about DeAndre Jordan changing his mind, how many of y'all have had a divorce? How many of y'all to keep your word in your divorce? Oh, yeah, I went there. Yes, I did. Because it's so hypocritical when you start criticizing these guys, these multimillionaires, positions that you and I should say, will never, ever have the opportunity to be there. But hey, look, it's his choice. You change your minds on cars, you bought houses, that you were going to buy a house, you're going to change your mind. You change your mind on girlfriends or boyfriends, whatever way you swing, you know. So all of these people upset with DeAndre Jordan is just, it's kind of ridiculous. It really is. It just makes no sense whatsoever. So get over this. It is up in arms and he's mad and he's upset with Chris Broussard. They've been having a Twitter war going back and forth. Apparently, Mark Cuban was driving around Houston yesterday, which is the hometown of DeAndre Jordan, and begging for family members or anybody to give him DeAndre Jordan's number so he could get in touch with DeAndre Jordan. Chris Broussard tweeted it out. Of course, Cuban fired back at him. It was a bunch of BS. And man, this is getting crazy, dude. Thanks, DeAndre. Man, this is it's been fun. So the bottom line is that DeAndre Jordan didn't sign the contract. There is a moratorium between, I think it's a 12-day period. Well, July 1st through the 9th, if I remember my dates correctly. And the 9th, during that period, here's why they do that. I'm going to go to a break real fast. Here's why they do that. So every year they have a formula to decide what's, and certainly the NFL does this as well. They have a formula to decide how much salary cap there's going to be based on the revenue of the previous year, whether or not there's going to be increase in luxury taxes. It's a complicated formula, but what it boils down to is this determines how much money teams can spend, all right, for the upcoming year. So during this time period, this is when they do that. So they can't actually sign any players until they have a better idea. And well, let's put it this way: if you're one of those teams that are at the cap and you're paying top luxury tax dollars, then you don't want to go out and sign anybody that's a big name free agent because you could end up paying more. So you got to kind of have to wait. Now, if you're one of those also ran teams, and you're not, pounding on the cap, then you can sign someone. But in this case, Dallas had to wait, from what I'm understanding. So that's why this period goes on. So everybody's upset with DeAndre Jordan. Look, you just give a verbal agreement. Dallas messed up when they decided, hey, we're done with Chandler, got rid of him. Now they're out of luck. It's kind of funny. It really is. And everybody upset with DeAndre Jordan. Look, he took $8 million more as opposed to that guy who gave up $11 million. But we'll get to him here in a little bit. But anyway, so it's kind of funny. So we'll talk about that. There's a lot of stuff to talk about as well. We'll get back to that here in just a moment. We're going to about take another break. Wow, that break came fast, and we're still, let's see, we've got the stream up, and you can go out to Facebook and check that out, okay? We'll be back here in just a moment. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on KABF 88.3 FM. Welcome back to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave Cole in the house. Here every Thursday, 5 to 7 p.m. The lines are open, expecting a call from Greg in a little bit. But if not, until then, if you want to give me a call, 501-433-0088. A lot of things to talk about, of course. DeAndre Jordan, DeAndre Johnson. Coming up in about 12 minutes, we'll get into my Thursday afternoon or Thursday evening rant. It's about DeAndre Johnson. I think you'll like it. Sit and stay. It's not going to be what you think. All right? So, get your little tape boys. Get your track tapes, cassette tapes, your cassette tapes. Some of the young people out there hear me like, what the heck is he talking about? What's that age? So, y'all don't know nothing about that. But anyway, we're talking a little NBA, and before we went to the break, we're talking a little bit about DeAndre Jordan and him changing his mind. And certainly a lot of us can do that. And let's do this. And we do that quite often. I mean, when we go to McDonald's or Burger King, you might go in for the Whopper, but then you change your mind and you want the fillet of fish. How about that? How you doing, Mr. Paul? Yeah. Yeah, that's all. I mean, well, now that I think about it, I guess they don't have a fillet of fish at Burger King. Well, that fish patty. How you? Hey, man. So, how's it going with you up there in Nashville? Well, it's been pretty cool down here, although the sun's out, but we got a nice little breeze. It's been happening. We've got like 63 days before football season takes place. Are you going to Birmingham? Is it simply Birmingham for the SEC Media Days? Was that was that your choice, or you just decided, hey, I've seen this circus. Don't I'm a little tired of it. Yep. Anything lately? Oh my goodness. No, I hadn't heard that. And I was just on the sports networks a few minutes ago, so it hadn't been updated. Hmm. Wow. Okay. Well, thanks for that update, man. I'll have to break out my old Kenny Stabler jersey tomorrow and wear it in honor of the snake. Yeah. Well, and certainly made a lot of friends and around the country and playing. I think playing in an era of football where it brought us to where we are today. I think that heyday of the Raiders, the Steelers, the Cowboys, during that era of the late '70s, early '80s. I think it set the groundwork for the NFL as we know it today. Yeah, I mean, good stuff by you, man. SEC Media Day starts next week. Uh, I guess everybody is still gonna just vote Alabama. You think is preseason favorites? Is that what you're hearing? Oh, you think so? Wow. What about, and you say Georgia on the east? Has Tennessee progressed that much, or is that just wishful thinking? Yep. Well, I kind of look at Tennessee the way I look at Arkansas. Those are two teams that are certainly building and on the come, I should say. But am I ready to say that? And of course, like we said, where they are on the East, with it being down, potentially you're exactly right. They could be right there because they had a nice little ending last year. I thought they played well at times. Well, it seems to be that way every year. Now, do they finish that way? They do typically, and it's usually always one in a hundred. But we'll see. It's going to be an interesting year, no doubt about it. Certainly now that Urban Meyer is at Ohio State, that he proved that he tipped the playing field a little bit towards the Big Ten. You got again, Michigan's new coach up there. I can't even think of his name right now. Yeah, Harbaugh up there. By the way, did you happen to hear the interview with him and Colin Cowherd? I think it was last Monday. Well, it just so happens that I was training a couple of interns at Joynet and the other station that I'm on, and I was telling them about this very thing where you're going to have interviews where it's going to be like pulling teeth, and I let them listen to that interview, and they were stunned. This is a junior and a senior in high school that they want to get into the radio business. I'm trying to steer them away from it, but yeah, but I just happened to hear the interview live. I was driving into the office and was listening to Cowherd that morning. I typically don't listen to him every morning, but I was that morning, and I was just about to die in my truck driving in. It was just one of the weirdest things. And Cowherd wasn't trying to beat him up. He was telling him, "Hey man, I like you. I'm just trying to, help you out." And Harbaugh was like, "Yeah, okay, but what do you want me to do?" Weird stuff. How's it going on with the Predators up there, man? Any news? Greg, did I lose you? I think I lost Greg. Let's see if we can get him back. Yep, I think we lost Greg. One is a modern technology. I don't think he is to be totally honest. It sounds like he's on the highway. But let's see. Greg, you back? Uh, Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I will definitely get up there this fall to see the Predators for sure. Any Titans news that we need to be aware of? Oh, I know. I know. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be an exciting game. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It really should. I'm looking forward to it for sure. Um, Football season's right around the corner, as I said earlier, and I'm going to have some fun. Just before I let you go, certainly you've been following this thing with DeAndre Jordan, and I know you're a big fan of Mark Cuban. And I actually, when I heard this, I thought of you for some weird reason. I said, what are the great things about his boy Mark Cuban? What are your thoughts on this thing with DeAndre Jordan and Mark Cuban? And have you heard the Twitter battle that's going on between Cuban and Chris Broussard? Yeah, and people being upset at him because he decided that he changed his mind. Well, we change our minds every day, and exactly. Oh, I totally agree with you on that, and I find it interesting because they were so ready to get rid of Tyson Chandler. I mean, they jettisoned him and let him go, and now what? I mean, it's kind of funny, but as I was saying earlier in our morning law, the NBA is loving this. When was the last time? And I think the year that LeBron had the decision. When was the last time that you were talking NBA free agency on July 9th? It just doesn't happen. Yeah, it's pretty fun. But, looking forward to more NBA talk as we go along. Of course, the Grizzlies were able to keep Marc Gasol. Basically, said he didn't want to go anywhere in the first place. So a lot of these teams just kind of stood pat in a lot of respects. So and of course, Marcus Aldridge going to the Spurs. I got to say right now, to me, the Spurs are the odds-on favorite to win that thing. It's just it, it's gonna be awesome. But hey, man, good talking to you. We gotta let you go. We'll talk to you next week. All right, that's how good buddy Greg Hope. You talk to us every week from Nashville. A lot of things. Not going to SEC Media Days. We're hoping we may get a live something live from them next week, but not this time. But anyway, we got to go out and take our next break. When we come back, we're going to do our Thursday afternoon rant, our Thursday evening rant. And I'm going to ask some questions about this DeAndre Johnson, Florida State, and this whole domestic violence thing. And we'll see what you think about it. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what you think about it. So you stick and stay, don't go away. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on KABF 88.3 FM. All right. If you're checking out the stream, I'm jamming. I'm doing the nay nay and the whip. You gotta check it out. I look pretty good for an old guy. How about a little Elements of the Universe, a little September? I wish it was September about now. I'm sorry, folks. I'm a fall guy. I love the fall weather. I love the leaves. I like the way it feels. There are no mosquitoes chasing you around trying to eat you. You know, football season, cheerleaders. Hey, what did you not love about fall? I didn't see that for me at all. But it's not bad. Not bad. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave. I'm here every Thursday, 5 to 7 p.m. Thanks for joining us. Coming up, Tim Swift at 6:10. I guess about Tuesday, right? So he's going to join me at 6:25. Hey, if we can, because it's popping. It's on and popping. I know there are a whole lot of NBA haters out there. You know, we're talking about is NBA because it's popular. Okay? Yeah. Let's do this. Let's get into my Thursday afternoon rant. By now, you've heard the story of DeAndre Johnson. DeAndre Johnson is the Mr. Florida football recruit at Florida State who has been kicked out of school because, according to the video, he punched somebody. He punched a girl at a bar. Okay. Now, my first question is, why is he being an 18-year-old kid, 19, whatever, at a bar? I guess it's legal in Florida. There was no issues related to that. But he's been kicked out of school because there was a videotape. This happened back, I think it was around June 24th, somewhere in there. It happened where he went to this bar. According to his attorney, moved up to the bar. The young lady didn't like it, apparently. She swung at him. What we didn't see on the video, according to the attorney, is that she attempted to knee him in the twig and berries. You know, that's a no-no. Let me just tell you something, ladies. You go there, you're in trouble, particularly if you go there initially, if you prompt her, okay? But anyway, so according to him, you can also see on the video where she tries to slug him, or whatever the case may be. He blocks her, then he punches her. Florida State sees the video. Jimbo Fisher, the president, they decided that they were going to kick him off the team. Now, a lot of this, he's been punished for what all went on last year or the last couple of years with Jameis Winston. Let's be real about that. That's what this is really all about, more than anything else, is that this is Jameis Winston after the fact. a quote unquote no tolerance of anything that would go on along those lines. And I certainly understand that because let's be real here. There's no reason whatsoever that a man should be punching a woman. Let me take that back. You have to protect yourself. All right. And I say that because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about there have been a lot of videos circulating on Facebook. There's one in particular on where this young man and this young lady was into an argument. And the young lady was all in his face. And the young man kept telling her, leave me alone, you need to get out of my face, leave me alone, leave me alone. And he walks away numerous times. And the young lady charges him and punches him violently. And then he punches her. Now the debate on that text was, well, the guy was wrong for hitting her. Well, see, here's the problem I have with domestic violence. Something that we don't talk about a lot is violence perpetrated on men by women that goes unreported because many men will be laughed at. Now, you may think I'm kidding and you might think that that's minuscule. Go next time, if you know a police officer, go ask him. Ask your friends how many times a woman has come up and punched a guy, a boyfriend or girlfriend, unsolicited, and he turned his back. Now, if the guy responds, then he's a cat. He's no good. But see, my argument and what I taught my daughter is, you don't put your hands on him, and he won't put his hands on you. And if he does, then he's gonna have to deal with that. In other words, just like we're teaching our men, or we're telling our young boys not to hit women, which is laudable, which we should be teaching that. We should also be teaching our women not to hit men. Let's be realistic. Physically, you can't handle it. And if a man decides to go off on you, you're at a disadvantage. So you ought to use a little common sense. And you should not be walking around with the attitude that I'm a woman, I can punch a guy, and he's not gonna punch me back. Because every guy doesn't subscribe to that. And apparently DeAndre Johnson did not. So before many of you out there, some of you Neanderthal feminists go out and say, hey, what David Coleman is advocating, or he's supporting domestic violence. That's far from what I'm saying. I am against domestic violence from women and from men. And we don't talk enough about the fact that women are, in some cases, just as violent as some men and perpetrate domestic violence against men, knowing that that guy is not going to hit them back. And if he does, then he's between a rock and a hard place. Now, if the young lady attempted to knee him in the groin, which is what we can't see, then I would be a little upset too. And the fact that she then tried to slug him. Now, I'm not saying he should not have used better judgment. I personally would have grabbed her hands and held them. But then again, if she had already attempted to knee him in the groin, allegedly, then she would have attempted to do it again, and it would have escalated. So the point being, and I've forgotten the player's name from the Buffalo Bills, he wanted to know the question. Well, where are the repercussions against the young lady? Because apparently she instigated it all. So you're telling me that because you're female, you can go out and instigate battery, and because the person is a male that you perpetrated it against, you can go free? The male is the culprit. He gets charged. Seems a little peculiar to me. Now, if DeAndre Johnson initiated, I got a problem with DeAndre Johnson. I don't know, and the people say, well, he could have walked away. You don't know that. You don't ever know what you would have done in the moment. And of course, if both of them were on that ignorant oil, and I suspect if it's a bar, it's a college party, and there are 19-year-olds in this bar, somewhere down the line, unless he doesn't drink, I don't know one way or the other, so he may not. But if he does, they probably both were on a little of that ignorant oil. So that exacerbates the tension as it is. And we forgot that the young lady allegedly used a racial slur. I just simply think that we have got hypersensitivity about domestic violence, and we're missing the forest for the trees. Because if it's going on, yes, it needs to be stopped. But it needs to be, because I see so many little girls going up slugging boys. And we hear this all the boy, you shouldn't hit little girls. But we're not telling little girls don't hit little boys. You're setting up a false sense of security. If you are against domestic violence, you must be against it across the board, regardless of who the victim is, regardless of whom the perpetrator is. You must be against it across the board. And from what I saw from that videotape, the young lady was the aggressor. Now, whether or not he used, and by the way, he's in Florida. He stood his ground. Now, oh, you didn't think about that, did you? He's in Florida. So are you telling me now that under the law, DeAndre Johnson had no right to stand his ground against an aggressive person, regardless of the fact that she was a white female? I threw one at you, didn't I? So I want to make you think here, because everything is not what we always think it is or what we see. So now this young man has been kicked off the team. He's lost his scholarship. Of course, somebody's going to pick him up, but this is going to follow him for the rest of his life. When in fact, if the facts are true, she started it. So let me ask you a question. If that would have been a guy and not a female, and DeAndre Johnson walked up to that bar, and the guy attempted to slug DeAndre Johnson, and DeAndre Johnson slugged him back, would we be having this conversation? That's the hypocrisy of it. Because you'd be saying, well, DeAndre was just defending himself. But because there was this little blonde white female, all of a sudden DeAndre Johnson is this vicious, mean guy. And we got to get him off the team without due process, by the way. Without due process. And what does it say about Florida State? It tells me, and if I am a parent, that if I send my child to Florida State and something happens, they're going to bail on my kid. They're not going to support my kid. They're not going to give my child, the child that you came to my living room and sat on my couch and promised me that you're going to make sure that my son does the right thing and he was going to get an education. That you, the same coach, you bail on my kid, I don't want anything to do with you. I'm sorry. You should have stood behind them until the facts were in. The facts apparently are not in. We see that right now. And unfortunately for DeAndre Johnson, he's going to be out of luck. And that's kind of sad. But of course, as I've said to many of young men, everything is not fair in this country. Everything is not fair when you see it. So you have to use discretion, especially when you are a football player or an athlete, because there are people out there who are trying to try you. Now, I'm not saying this young lady was doing that, but there are people that you're going to run into that's going to try you. Because number one, they know you're a football star. They think you're privileged. They're jealous because maybe they got kicked off the team back when they were in 8th grade. They didn't get the opportunities that you did. So the first chance they get, Johnny Big Guy on the campus is going to try it. So somebody's going to do something trying to pull you down. So you, along with your teammates, have got to be a team on and off the field. You've got to protect one another. You've got to hold each other up to a higher standard. If there was a teammate there for Johnson, they should have said, hey, man, come on, let's go. Don't worry about it. Should have grabbed him. So his teammates failed him. I don't know if they were there or not, but they should have been there. It should have never gotten to that point. So when you're an athlete out there, you are held to a higher standard. So I understand why they suspended him, and they should have suspended him. If they were going to do anything, they should have suspended him until the news came back on what the case was about. That's what they should have done. I'm just saying. Let's see, we got about 3 minutes. Let's see if we can get this call on the air before we go to break here. Hey, caller, you're on the Weekly Sports Magazine. What's on your mind? You got about 2 minutes. Oh, well, thank goodness for that. Wiggling. All right, man. Thanks for the update. I appreciate that. Hey, thanks a lot, man. Bye. Well, the snake is still with us. I was getting ready to go out the top of the hour with Breakman. But yeah, you got the gist of what I'm saying about the Anthony Johnson. I think it wasn't fair. I think Florida State jumped the gun. I think he's been punished for Jameis Winston. And let's see when the facts come out. We've heard a lot about. Well, let's hear about the facts. Nobody's saying anything about the facts on this one. So let's hear about the facts. When the facts come out, hopefully they will be in his favor, and he will be exonerated to another school. And they play Florida State, and they run rings around them. But again, if you are a parent, let this be a cautionary tale for you that this is what your university, most universities will do for you. They will bail on you when your kid needs you the most, needs them the most. And at a time when DeAndre Johnson needed Florida State, they bailed on him. And they ought to be ashamed of themselves. Whether they're right or wrong, hey, forget about the pressure that happened last year with Jameis Winston. You should have stood by this young man until the facts came out. You still would have had plenty of opportunity to kick him off the team. But what initiated that? Are you saying he wasn't supposed to protect himself? That's a bunch of baloney. And I'm sick of this kind of crap. Anyway. Hey, we'll be back in just a moment. We're at the top of the hour. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on KABF 88.3 FM. Hey, sports fans, Dynamic David Coleman here. Listen to my weekly sports show every Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. right here. I don't shy away from controversies like domestic violence, drugs, or should college kids be made. If you love fantasy, NBA, NFL, NHL, high school, college, and yes, even NASCAR, we got you covered. Every Thursday afternoon, 5 to 7 p.m. Listen, call the weekly sports page of Dynamic David Coleman on 88.3 FM. This is Ray Raptor, daily voice of the U.S. Open, 26 prime age American, 2554, the time of the later capital, of course, remember, by the 1970s. Oxford University researchers forecast that machine might be the U.S. job in the next 20 years. In all 2014, and the football games constituted all of the 20 most watched television programs and 45 of the most watched What's up? That's crazy. Did you hear that?
Stay tuned for thrills, chills, and yes, feels. Oh yeah, and a whole lot of other great stuff. Call 501-433-0088. Tweet your questions at Dynamic Sports PA on Facebook. Drop a line on Dynamic Weekly Sports Show. Sit back, relax, and groove while Dynamic Drop Sports in your ear hole. Now here's Dynamic David Coleman.
If you missed it, if you're streaming live, you just saw me do the prayer. Remember the prayer? It was a stupid dance, but we all did it back in the day. Had a good time too, especially when you try to push up on that soul sister. I'm down in the game. I'm here every Thursday. 143. It's the number. Call me up. A lot of stuff to talk about. Did you like my rant? I know I ticked a lot of people off. I know a lot of people out there probably saying that. These are pro-domestic violence. No, I'm not. I am pro-equal rights. Okay? You can't have your cake and eat it too. All right, and if you are the aggressor, whether you are 5'1" or 6'2", it doesn't matter. You get what you deserve. I know that sounds cold, but you should not be walking around feeling privileged that you can strike anyone without impunity, with impunity. Just like no man should be walking around thinking that just because that she's my woman, I can beat her butt. I can lock her in a room. I can hold her down. No man should be able to do that. Okay? And no woman should have the right to go and hit another man. That just shouldn't work that way. I'm sorry. So if you're mad about my commentary, hey, you can send me an email at info@riprub.com. The views and opinions of this station are not necessarily the views and opinions of David Coleman, or vice versa. But she had no right trying to hit the guy. I'm sorry. I'd probably defend myself too. Now, call me mean, call me grumpy, whatever your case may be. But homie don't play that. I just don't. Anyway, more stuff to talk about. Oh, well, yeah, the Spurs get LaMarcus Aldridge. We talked a little bit about that last hour, of course. With Popovich, as I think he's the best coach in the NBA, has been that way probably for the last 10, 12 years. Look, I'm looking at it like this. At this point, it's the Spurs to lose. I don't care what LeBron has done. It's the Spurs to lose. They've got a heck of a bench. Forget about their starting five. They've got Diaw coming off the bench, Patty Mills, man. David West, which reminds me, David West, apparently he didn't like Indiana. He had to get up out of there. He was slated to make $12 million. And he decided that he wanted to go to San Antonio for a league minimum, veterans minimum $1.5 million. So he gave up $11 million, folks, to go play for San Antonio. What does that say about Popovich and San Antonio? Isn't it weird? It used to be that people wanted to go to Boston. They wanted to go to New York. They wanted to go to LA. Just told LA, hey, y'all ain't bringing it. I got to go. He ends up signing in San Antonio. People want to go. San Antonio is now like the New York, LA, and Boston of the South, the Southwest. By the way, if you've never been to San Antonio, very nice city. Very nice. I love San Antonio. Women are gorgeous. Oh, yeah, I did nice. I'm just having fun. Okay, San Antonio is a very nice city, and the women are beautiful. I will say that. But anyway, LeBron finally re-ups for 2 years and $46.9 million. Why do they do like 0.9? Why don't you just go round it up to $47 million for 2 years? What's up with that? So you're looking like 23.5 a year. If you're gonna get 23.4 1 year, 23.5 the next year, just round it up. Come on, what's up with that? So they've got Love, they got Tristan Thompson, so they've kind of reloaded a little bit, added some free agents. That's going to be interesting. It's them in the West, in the East, and everybody else. We'll see how that team plays out this year, now that they've been together 1 year. Jason Pierre-Paul, have you heard about this guy? Mr. Firecracker himself. He was playing with fireworks over the 4th of July, and let's be honest, how many of us have had fireworks blown up in our hands? I have. I remember it so clearly. It hurted it. It did. It hurted it for like 2 weeks. Fortunately, it didn't blow one of my fingers off. And I've had it where you know how you hold them and you like to hold them and let the stem burn and then throw them. I've had it where you've just thrown it and it blows. Right there, the concussion from the blow hurts your hand. I've had all of that. So when people sit back and try to criticize Jason Pierre-Paul, shut up. You've done something stupid too. The fact of the matter that he might lose his contract, but it might work out in his favor. And let me tell you why. So they were getting ready to offer a $60 million contract, they being the Giants, to Jason Pierre-Paul, right? So now that he potentially has blown his finger off and had it amputated, his middle right finger, and of course he has some fractures in his thumb, that's going to make him sit probably 6 to 8 weeks. The Giants have pulled that contract. Now the question will be, will the Giants re-offer him a contract? Will they franchise him? Because if he does, they've got to pay him the average of the top 3 defensive ends in the league, the top 3 defensive end salaries in the league. So he's still going to get paid for 1 year. If they don't offer him a contract, then guess what happens to Jason Pierre-Paul? He becomes a free agent and he can go out and test the market. Did y'all know that? So this might be a blessing in disguise for Pierre-Paul. Now the question will be, what team will be willing to take him on, considering the fact that he's injured his hand and we don't know how he'll respond. But on the other hand, I'm going to tell you folks, loyalty is everything to these players. I don't care how wrong some of them be and some of the things that they do. If they detect that you're not loyal, regardless of what they're going through, then they're ready to go. And I think Greg, I call. I host. I guess last hour said this point. When the owners are ready to get rid of you, they ready to kick you to the curb. They don't call you in the office. Hey man, look. A lot of times they hear it on Twitter, they hear it on ESPN. So don't give me this mess and feel bad about Mark Cuban as if he's some holier than thou owner, because he is. Because they all do that crap. Anyway, we'll get more of that. We got to go out. We got to talk to Tim Swift, see what his thoughts are as well. I know he's got some interesting thoughts on DeAndre Jordan. We're going to talk to him in just a moment as well. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on KBF 88.3 FM.
I still should feel like take your call right now. The best you will get back to you soon. That's RIVRG. They're like a mouse to the talking about great recipes and gift ideas. Then you do that. Make it good. Spread it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm Dynamic Dave. We're streaming live right here on the KBF Radio. A little Rush trapping in the background. Having a good time with a little more bounce to the ends. Yeah. Sit back, relax, and groove while we do it to your ear hole right now. What's up? I'm Dynamic Dave. I'm doing a show every Thursday. It's the Weekly Sports Magazine. And of course, as you can see, we have fun. Hey, Tim, what's happening? I'm doing simply wonderful. So, I kind of use you as my resident boxing expert because I know you're a big boxing fan. So your boy Mayweather decided that he didn't want to pay the $25 registration fee for his little stanky belt, and they took his belt from him. Is that a big deal?
Knows that Floyd Mayweather is the best welterweight, and for that matter, the junior middleweight out there going right now 147 and 154 pounds. So, what belt he does or does not have does not matter in the whole scheme of things.
Well, he made $220 million from the fight, Tim. He could have paid the little $200. Was it $200,000? Well, you probably think Floyd thinking, hey, them cats ain't doing nothing but sitting on their tails. I'm not getting them $200,000 for another belt. Yeah, I totally agree. Just kind of stupid either way. Let's move on. What are your thoughts on this dance with Dallas and Los Angeles for DeAndre Jordan? By the way, it fascinates me simply because I know he's a force inside when he's dunking the ball, but a guy who can't hit 45% from the free throw line, I'm not understanding this, but it's happening. Free agency in the NBA has went crazy. But wait a minute, he's mad at Chris Paul. Apparently, that's why he was thinking about leaving because Chris wasn't including him more in the offense. Well, what the hell you wanted to do, DeAndre? You gonna go with me? You don't want to go with him. His mama wear bubblegum panties. Well, I'm gonna tell you what, Chris Broussard and Mark Cuban, I thought they were gonna go come to blows here. Did you? Have you been following the tweets? Yep. So what you're saying is that Mark Cuban was not driving around Houston calling all of DeAndre's friends and family, trying to get them to divulge information as to where he was or provide his phone number. So he being Mark Cuban could contact DeAndre. He was not doing that. Is that what you're saying? So see, I'm a little different. See, I could see Mark Cuban doing it. Because see, he's such a hands-on guy, and he wants to control everything. And according to him, he said that Jordan never contacted him. So I could see him trying to find Jordan to make one last pitch. I could see Cuban doing it. I could. You know, it's either way. It's funny regardless. Tim, you got about 65 more days. SEC Media Days are next week. You got all your stats and your slide rules and stuff ready for fantasy sports. Is that correct? Yeah. Well, JPP was definitely not be giving anyone the middle finger anytime soon. Oh, I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize for all the people with the middle finger who may not have one, may be offended. Okay. All right. All right, Tim. Hey, probably not. Hey, man, good talking to you. Well, and by the way, look, I'm telling you, we're expanding the Saturday show for 2 hours. Somehow or another, we got to get you on Saturday morning. Okay. Yeah. See, I know yours. All right. I know that's right. All right, man. We'll let you go, man. Good talking to you. All right, bye-bye. That's my good buddy, Tim. We talked to him. He's actually our fantasy sports guru. But he talks, I mean, he does a show as well, so we'll talk about anything. So that's a little inside joke. People who have worked at radio stations probably kind of got that. But anyway, hey, we need to go out and take a break. We're going to try. I'm not making any promises because he hadn't returned my tweets. He hadn't returned my calls. Usually I'm the first man on the totem pole when it comes to Mr. Ridley. But, you know, since he's moved on up the totem pole and Madden and all that, Madden Guru and all that other stuff, you don't know a brother no more. No, I'm just kidding. Larry's a good guy. We're going to try to get him into the moment, so you just stick and stay, don't go away. Oh, by the way, let's go ahead and take our next break. We're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on KABF 88.3 FM. Hey, friend, have you checked out dynamicpowerbase.com? It's and most importantly, a growing database of up-and-coming businesses ready to serve your consumer needs. Get inquiry on how to make your business a power player and help build a network of like-minded businesses. Stay abreast of upcoming dynamic power events, meetings, but most importantly, join this growing national Black business network. Get a power page to become a power player. Network locally and nationally with other business owners across the country. Go to dynamicpowerpages.com right now and just see for yourself. Here's my number, 615-554-0568. You'll talk direct to me, David W. Coleman, and we'll begin developing your business blueprint for the past. 615-554-0568, or go to dynamicpowerpages.com. It's smart, it's innovative, and most importantly, it's not a party, it's a purpose. Dynamic Power Pages is growing. Get your business blueprint growing by doing this. DynamicPowerPages.com. We don't just list your business on the website or we can business clients. We build you an interactive web page for your business and everybody national. So we send our subscribers to you all over the country. Already got a website? Yeah, that's no problem. You can use your Power Page as a source to your own business website. Dynamic Power Pages is a growing national site. Go to dynamicpowerpages.com today and let's set up a free, that's right, free initial consultation. Small business and short accounts, yeah, we understand. We have a kingdom plan that will fit anybody. It's happening on dynamicpowerpages.com. Remember, wow, welcome back. We'll sit back, relaxing and grooving. A little jazz in your ear hole right now. A little Spice by Loose Ends, one of my all-time favorite British groups, Bad Boys and Girls. I'll tell you, nice. Well, welcome back to the Weekly Sports Magazine. We will not, let me repeat, we will not afternoon. Larry really is, the life of Raleigh. He's covering Summer League baseball. What is he doing? Summer League, Orlando Summer League stuff. Well, it can be baseball. I don't know. But by the way, we'll try to get him Saturday morning on the Weekly Sports Magazine, the Saturday edition on joynetradio.com. By the way, you need to check that station out. Check out Joynet and also check out the show. We're going to be doing some more things on there as well. Some things that we can't do Thursday, we can do on Saturday mornings. That means different guests and things of that nature. But we'll do those, and we'll play some of those back on today's show as well as we go forward into the future. But we're looking forward to that. So much for Larry, really. All right, let's go back to our list of things that we want to talk about today. I guess we've kind of beaten that DeAndre Jordan thing to death. Oh, Shrina, which reminds me, ESPN just fired Keith Olbermann for like the 2000th time. No, they did. So Olbermann's contract, they didn't fire him. They're not renewing his contract. I think it ends July 15th. And of course, they don't like Olbermann doing commentary. Well, that's like telling the dog not to tinkle on the lawn. That's what Olbermann does. So you got to tell a guy who has made his living on commentary not to do commentary. How stupid can you be? And this is just a classic example of what ESPN is all about. They're not about journalism anymore. They're just simply not. They're about entertainment. They're about fluff, real sports journalism. They're putting people on this on ESPN that clearly doesn't know jack about the sport that they're talking about. And I'm talking about that young lady. And I'd say this about a guy if it was him. But that young lady who was talking about DeAndre Jordan, I don't know her name earlier. She's apparently new. I haven't seen her. Well, I've seen her a couple of times. But each time I've seen a report from her, it is nothing. This is where ESPN is going. This is why I don't watch ESPN a lot. There are certain shows, Part Interruption, I like that. I don't get what is the one that Stephen A. Smith and Skip is on. I used to watch that, but it's so contrived now, it's ridiculous. And all of this has occurred since ABC or Disney bought ESPN. It's a bunch of crap. I'm so sick of ESPN. There needs to be a rival, and a serious rival at that. Certainly there are other stations who are trying, but they dropped the ball for about 15 years and allowed ESPN to get this foothold. And everybody just depends on them as if they are the Bible. And I think Tim made a good point. Chris Broussard does make some outlandish statements sometimes. They're not always right. Alan Shepard, he posts the picture of DeAndre Jordan's finger. Now, I know you're a journalist. And look, I'm a journalist as well. I've been in this business for 30 years. But at some point, I don't think you had the right to post a injury of someone else. That's not your right, Adam Shepard. It just isn't. You can hide behind contacts and journalism, journalistic ethics and all that stuff. In that particular case, you should have went to DeAndre Jordan, not DeAndre Jordan, but Jason Pierre-Paul and said, hey, look, do you mind if I post this picture? And I'm pretty sure he would have said no. Now, I don't know where you would have gotten that picture from. So someone had to leak it to you. But just because someone was unscrupulous and leaked it to you, that does not mean you had the right to post that picture of his hand. Just did. Some things you have to use some ethics behind yourself. And journalism today has no ethics. Certainly not on the left, and God knows there's not much on the right. Where are the just the facts guys? Where are they now? Well, they're being controlled by millionaires who want the news or sports to be slanted one way or the other, and it's doing a disservice to all of us. Just the sports, ma'am. Just the sports. I don't want your damn opinion. I don't want how you feel. I just want the sports. I want the facts. And ESPN has bastardized sports. Yes, I said it. Now run and tell that. And everybody just sucks up to us. They throw stuff out on the wall and see if it sticks. And then if it doesn't stick, they say, well, sources, I had pretty reliable sources that told me that was what was going to happen. It's a bunch of crap. And it's all because of Disney has bought ESPN. I think it's been 10, 15 years now. And it has devolved. It is not a sport. Yeah, they run sports. They do sports highlights. But if you want real sports journalism, it is not ESPN. I'm going to be totally honest with you. You have to really go out and find it. The best place to get your sports news, and the fact now that you have the internet, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, we didn't have the internet. So we had to rely on people who were on the scene. We had to listen to who ESPN chose to speak the word to you. We don't have to do that anymore now. You want to know how you can get your best sports information? And I'm not kidding. Get on the internet and go to the local newspaper, whether it's Dallas, whether it's Indianapolis, whether it's Nashville, whether it's Denver, whatever team that's covering that you like, find the local newspaper that's covering your team. Just find it. And that's where you're going to get your best information. These international or national news guys, they don't get the info. Just like right now, if I really wanted to get info about the Titans, you know who I would call right now in Tennessee? Jim White. Jim White has been covering the Titans for almost 10 years. He can tell me anything I need to know about the Tennessee Titans. And by the way, we will have Jim on the show. But that's how you get information about these teams. Stop listening and taking ESPN as the Bible, because they simply don't know everything. And they're getting information. I mean, if you listen to the ones that are credible, guess who they're having on their show? They're getting the local yahoos as well. But these guys like Mel Kiper that just sit at the desk, or the women that just sit at the desk, saying still, and just mouth stuff that's being on the teleprompter. All they're doing is mouthing stuff that producers have put in the teleprompter. They have no if, ands, or whats about anything. That's all of them. Give me a guy that's on the street out there beating the drums. That's all. That's all. Larry Ridley will not be with us today. He is going to be on with me Saturday morning at 9:25 on Jordan Radio. Tune in for that. We'll get some updates on what's happening in the NFL. Let me just make sure. I want to make sure I covered everything. Oh, by the way, the All-Star game is next week. Let's see, the next Tuesday is at the 14th. A-Rod has been snubbed. Let me just say something about that. Okay. Now, I know everybody, and they mama, and they mamas, and they baby daddies, and they baby mamas, sisters, brothers, cousins, uncles, and nephews. Let's not leave out AT. They're mad at A-Rod. We know that A-Rod took steroids. All right? We have no proof, but the argument can be made that the majority of them took steroids. I'd say about 80 to 90% of people who were playing baseball during that era was on some type of steroids. I really would. So, with that being the case, snubbing A-Rod for the All-Star game was just poor. That's just tacky. Okay? If a guy puts up the numbers, he ought to be able to make the All-Star squad. I don't care what his past is. He's in the league. He's playing. He's getting a check. So you got to snub. And I know what you're saying. You know, we didn't snub him. You are a fat lie. You did snub him because of that. Come on. And of course, the home run derby is Monday. It's like 8 guys, 5 minutes to swat all the balls that you can out of the park. It's so corny. I won't watch it unless it might be on and I'll be doing work or something. But it's not something that I'm gonna set my clock to. Just like I don't set my clock to any All-Star game or any slam dunk or anything like that. It's just so contrived and ridiculous. And baseball's got to be smarting a little bit. Here you are, everybody's. The All-Star game is next week, and people are talking NBA. I'm loving it. This is what you get, baseball, for abandoning the inner city. This is what you get. You didn't think it would affect you at all, right? Now, certainly I know you're turning out big numbers. People are showing up in droves. But you're not getting the people that you really want. Okay? This is what you get for abandoning your inner city. I'm loving this. People are talking All-Star games next week, and people are talking about a center that can't hit free throws over baseball. I think that's hilarious. I really do. Because I used to love baseball. Then they turned it back over. This is what you get. That old saying, don't bite the hand that feeds you. I guess you learned a valuable lesson. But anyway, let's go out and take another break. We're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine, KABL 88.3 FM. Sookie now. Hey, back in the day when you were a wallflower, when this sun came on, yeah, we had to get a little honey off the wall. Come on, baby, let's dance. Yeah, come on. Y'all know who this is? Yeah, you know who it is. Come on, girls. Hey, what? I get what? Oh, wow. Do I get that much? I get what? Yeah, little emotions. The best of my love, you're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I am enjoying that radio. KBS. I think enjoying that. KBS, you can call me 844. I was getting ready. You know, that's weird. I haven't done that in months. I was getting ready to give my old radio stations number. That's weird. Old habits of dial. 501-433-0088 is the number. That's how you call me. Talk to me the last, 14 minutes of the show. Got some other stuff we want to talk about. I keep saying I'm going to get to Serena. Here's why I started in on ESPN last segment. I'm sorry. They just irritate me. All right. If you noticed, I'm one of those guys that when you irritate me, I tell you, I'm going to beat around the bush. Yo, dog, you getting on my nerves. That reminds me. Okay. So I was on a bus trip, right? And this young cat, and when I take the bus, I did it for a while, because I had driven so much. That drive, 6, 7, 8 hour drives, after a while, when you get old, it gets sick. So I started taking the bus when I come from Nashville to Little Rock. And this young cat was on the bus, and he was just singing at the top of his lungs. When I had my earphones, and I've got these full earphones that cover my entire ear, the ones I use at the station. If you're streaming, these are the earphones that I use regularly. I do have some buds, but the buds kind of irritate the insides of my ear. So I like these better. So the cat was he was on the bus. He was sitting one on the other side of the aisle, one chair behind me. Bus wasn't that full. And the dude was just singing at the top of his lungs. Okay? And I plug in my earphones and turn up the volume. And I still hear this guy. And I'm like, come on, man. And I'm trying to be patient. I'm thinking maybe dude's going to shut up. Maybe somebody's going to tell him to shut up. No one did. I had to tell him. Yo, dog, I got my earphones in. And my volume turned up on high. I can still hear you. You disturbing me. Shut the hell up. I did. I told him. So, I'm going to tell you what I feel. That's just how I am, I bring it straight with no chaser. I'm not trying to be mean. That's just how I am. I'd rather you be honest with me and tell me up front than to lie to me and we find out later on. That's just me, and that's how I treat you. A lot of people can't accept the truth, but that's how it is. Speaking of which, Serena, which we're up here. She wins Wimbledon today. She beats Sharapova 6-2, 6-4. She basically dominates. I think she has like 15 aces. At one point, if you saw the match, I was just laughing. I laughed heartily because Sharapova barely moved. The ball was by, and I saw the clock. One of them said like 120 miles an hour. That was a Serena circuit. She had no chance, Sharapova. Now, what this does for Serena, it sets up, now that she's won the French Open, the Australian Open, and now she hadn't won Wimbledon yet, but the opponent she faces in the finals, she's the 20th ranked opponent or seed, and she's never been to the finals. First time she had been to the semifinals, and she upset the seed that was ahead of her. So you kind of think that unless Serena breaks a leg or her arm falls off, she gets noodle arm or something, she's going to win the Wimbledon, which means that sets up for her to win the calendar slam, Grand Slam, which would mean she wins the Australian Open, the French Open, Wimbledon, and the U.S. Open all in a calendar year. Now, Serena, think of my daughter. Serena has done this once before, but it was called the Serena Slam. I think it was done back in 2004, where she won all 4 of them, but it wasn't in the same calendar year. So this is a big thing. And by the way, this hasn't been done since 1988 with, and Steffi Graf was the person who did it. Also, if Serena wins one more match, that means that she passes Steffi Graf for the number of majors that she's won, if I remember. I think that's cool. In other words, Serena's about to eclipse all of them. I've been saying this for months now. Serena, in my opinion, is the best athlete in America. Now, don't come telling me about the girl that scored 2 goals, 3 goals in the World Cup. Yeah, that was one. Serena Williams has been carrying the United States tennis for the last 10 years. She and her sister, but mainly Serena. And the fact that she is on the verge of winning a calendar slam. And I'm saying this because I got a feeling when they award the ESPYs, and I don't watch award shows, but see, Serena ought to be the athlete of the year. Don't give me this mess about the World Cup women. That's a team. This one woman has carried United States tennis for 10 years, minimum. And she's about to eclipse everyone in the sport. Unless something drastic happens, I tend to believe that she's going to win Wimbledon, and she will win the U.S. Open later on this summer. And how stupid will ESPN be if they decide to give Athlete of the Year to someone other than Serena? In fact, right now, Serena ought to be getting Athlete of the Year on everything that's fast. Every ball, that's Serena. Can she play football? Can she go to the hole and slam dunk? Can she hit a golf ball? How good of a goalie do you think she'd be? I don't know, her slap shot might be fine. Necessarily I'm exaggerating, but you understand my point. That this woman is amazing. At a time in her sport where she should be winding down, it's almost like the woman's getting stronger. It's like she's Superwoman. Yeah. Super. Oh, just a come back, Dave. Come back. Oh man, I was thinking about something. No, not that. Get your mind out of the gutter. But this is just how good the girl is. The young lady is. The woman is. What's she, 33? 32. Most people are hanging it up at this point. Serena's still going strong. Nobody's touching her. She's dominating everybody. Who is the number 2 seed in the world in tennis? Who cares? Exactly. Who cares? It's Serena. She's a number 10 seed for all I'm caring. She's 1 through 10. Nobody can beat her. And I think she gets bored. I really do. Because there have been times when she's been in matches and she'll lose the first set. She's like, oh darn, let me go and play. Girl, on a cell phone whacking, hitting the ball with one racket. Girl, yeah, I'm going to the Riviera next week. Oh yeah, you ought to come join. Yeah, Serena, you playing again? Yeah, she's up a half a set. I'll catch up. Then she loses the first set. It ticks her off. And she comes back and she kicks your tail. I mean, it's unbelievable. So until Serena retires, which it doesn't look like she's going to do it anytime soon, let's stop giving female athlete of the year to anyone else but Serena. Let's just stop that. That's just pure folly. That's a joke. Let's just stop that. Okay? Can we do that? And do me a favor. When you see that, will you do me a favor and shake your head, say, that's so stupid. It's Serena. I know it's Serena. Will you do that for me? because this has become a joke. In watching that match today, Sharapova was the number 1 seed, number 2 seed. Serena beat the dog out of her. I mean, beat the dog. I mean, I think she said, I'm gonna let her get close in this second set. So Serena let her get close in the second set, and then guess what? Poof, ace, poof, ace, poof, ace, poof, ace. That's my girl. And she fine as wine and twice as sweet. Ain't nothing like a beautiful woman who can beat you in athletics. That's why I love me some track girls. I'm just acting a fool. But y'all know what I mean by Serena, right? Let's stop this silliness. Can we do that, please? Can we just stop it right now and just say, hey, look, Serena is by far, we know she's the best female athlete in the country. Now, some of the women in track and field may argue with you on that, but certainly they're not getting Allison Felix off talking gorgeous, intelligent, particularly beautiful, sexy, whatever. But we know she's the best athlete, female athlete. Now the question is she the best athlete overall? That includes men and women. I'd say yeah. What other athlete is dominating like her? Man or female in their respective sport? What other athlete that's doing it? And particularly in an individual sport. It's just not a team sport where you have help. This is an individual sport where it's just her against an opponent. What other athlete is dominating like her? It's Serena, folks. Y'all need to recognize that fine chocolate racket swinging sister. But like, dude, that lost his mind. Just want to remind you, coming up here at Throwback Thursdays here in about 3 minutes, well, about 5 minutes. We got to play some PSA and stuff. But Doug Fleming is in the house. He'll rock your world a little bit more. And of course, you probably said, man, I just wasted 2 hours with that crazy guy on sports. Well, that's your problem. Your mama. I know, I'm crazy. But look, we got to get out of here, and I've had fun as usual. By the way, I want to remind people to join me Saturday morning on joynetradio.com. That's at 9 o'clock. I'm on from 9 to 10. We will have Larry Ridley on to give us some more updates on the NBA and Mark Cuban, and we'll find out if he really was wandering around the Houston streets, in the hood, trying to find the DeAndre Jordan's house. Got chased by some gang members. Hey man, that's Mark Cuban. Get it. But anyway, I'm sorry. I'm just having fun. All right, we got to go. I'm really going now. By the way, brilliant minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people, which you possess. We're out of here. Thanks for listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on KABF 88.3 FM.
Thanks for listening to the Weekly Sports page with Dynamic David Coleman. Tune in every Thursday afternoon from 5 to 7 p.m. See you next week.
Hey, Internet.